Now we're getting our Google fixed.
Farmer mixed with roofer. So you're like double dipping. You're selling a roof and then you're selling them eggs. That's genius, bro.
This is the Real Construction Owners Podcast. What's going on, everyone? Justin Ledford. I'm the host of Real Construction Owners Podcast, where we interview real owners of multi-million-dollar construction companies, so you can go from being stressed out as an operator to becoming a real owner who achieves healthy profit margins and a thriving business without having to figure out how to do it all by yourself. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Richard Colleti, owner of Leak Busters Roof Repairs. He's a successful roofing contractor as well as an investor out of Florida with interesting views on life. And if you listen all the way to the end, you're going to get to hear how he uses his construction profits to create a legacy of wealth by investing in real estate. Here we go.
Richie, what's the name of your company?
Leak Busters Roofing.
Leak Busters Roofing. Nice.
Yeah, Leak Busters Roofing. And then we have Leak Busters Roof Repair too.
And how many years have you been in business?
Just over 6 years.
What do you love about this industry?
What's not to love? Well, I grew up in it. You know, I didn't like school, so what I did is when I dropped out of school, I mean, it was either go to school or go to work. This is what I did. I carried shingles, I nailed stuff. So it's really what I've known growing up. I like being on different houses every day. I like the excitement of it. You're always on top, right?
Yeah. You love the variety. It sounds like you like the variety, you like the scenery. You don't have to be in an office stuck at a desk. That's some of the things that I love about construction as well. Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. Tell our audience what you did before construction and how did you get into it?
I went to elementary school, didn't like that. And then by the time I got to about ninth grade, I really didn't like school at all. I was cutting out of school all the time. And my dad came out to my fort in the woods and knocked on the door. And, I guess he had followed me out there, and I said, how did you know that, I wasn't going to school? He said, well, I know every day you're not going to school. You usually pack 3 times as much lunch. And he said, so I figured something was up. So then he followed me. And then that's when I kind of started going to him. And I mean, like I said, I've always been on the roof at 8, 9, 10 years old. I was laying shingles by the time I was 13. And then I did hands-on re-roofs for, probably till I was in my 26 years old. And then I started getting into repairs, and then I started getting into selling. And then I worked with another company, and he was getting ready to retire. So I said, you should probably get your license and you get your own license, start your own business, because I'm going to retire and you're not going to make this money working for anybody else. You paid me really well, and he just was kind of looking out for me to make sure that I can sustain my lifestyle that I built working for him. So that's what I did.
That's awesome. So you own Leak Busters Roofing out of Florida, where the sun is always shining. You started from the School of Hard Knocks, just like myself, and you've built this business into an empire. So many people, they're owners of companies, but they're having to be an operator and wear different hats. What would you say to a new owner or an existing owner who's trying to grow? What are a few common pitfalls that new construction companies fall into?
Well, the biggest thing, and I still struggle with this on a regular basis too, and I'm working on it a little bit better, but being able to delegate things out, knowing the biggest pitfall you can have as a business owner is thinking that you're the best at everything. And that was kind of like, I'm the best at sales. I'm the best at doing a roof. I'm the best at, running the jobs. So having that, that mindset that you're the best at everything, it's hard for you to delegate things out to anybody else, because you won't have trust that they're going to do it. You just have to kind of come to terms with yourself that, even if they're 50 to 75% as good as you, you still need those people to go ahead and do those things that you're doing, or otherwise you're never going to grow because you can't do everything. And that was a hard thing for me. I tried to do all of it. And, we're talking 14, 16-hour days, 7 days a week, just, not seeing your kids for weeks on end, basically, because you're trying to keep up with everything. You're trying to run the sales, come back, write up the estimate, send it out, schedule the job, order materials, be on the job, do this, and it's just, it burns you out, and that's how you burn out. So you have to learn how to delegate things out, even if the people aren't as good as you. So you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally found somebody I think that could probably outsell me. So see what happens.
I love it. Let's unpack that a little bit. Delegation is the key to success and growth. If somebody can do it 70% as good as you, then let them have it. What we do in our company is I just get a little notepad and I write down, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then I go to loom.com and I record myself doing it. And then I save it as whatever the task is named, and I database it. So now my team knows what to do, how to do it, and they can constantly do it for us. So we as owners don't have to be spending our time doing that. Now, let's go back in time a little bit, and a funny story or not so funny story where you knew in your heart there was a job, an opportunity, and you were about to say, yes, I'm going to get this deal. But this customer, you could tell, was a problem child. You could tell this was going to be a risk. This was going to be a headache, but you end up taking the job and you had heartache. What was that job? Describe it to us and tell us the lessons you learned from that.
Well, I have had, I had those. I haven't had anything really completely turn into a nightmare. But I'll be honest, I love to be challenged. So sometimes I've been known for taking some of the more difficult customers that people don't want to deal with because they're anal or whatever. And I kind of like working with those type of people sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, we like the easy people too, but that's just a challenge for me. It gets me tune in my skills of dealing with problem people and putting some of the stuff I learned from like Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence Others, and all the books I've read. I like to use those techniques on people. But I mean,
Jedi Master.
Yeah, that's my that's my thing. I like to do that. I like that. So I haven't really had, to be honest, I really haven't had anything really go totally awry. I've had people just not want to pay me, and I'd have to try to sue them for the money, almost take their house. But as far as like it being a complete nightmare, I mean, I really, fortunately, knock on wood, I haven't really had that experience. Yeah.
You kill them with kindness and you go after it directly. And if you have to, you'll have your lawyer draft up a letter and threaten with the liens. And it sounds like you've had to do that. And It sounds like, but you've been able to communicate through those tough times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like I said, sometimes if you mess up something on a job, mistakes are going to happen. It happens. You guys are going to screw something up. The people are irate. They come, hey, you screwed up. Yes, I screwed up. What else are they going to say? How much? I mean, I'm admitting that I screwed up. Yeah, it was my fault. I didn't oversee my guys. I didn't watch what they were doing, and they screwed up. How much more further can that guy go? What else can he say to me? Just keep telling me over and over again that I screwed up. So you defuse them at that point, and then just figure out what can we do? How do we move forward? I don't want to sit here and argue with you. So.
Wow, that's good communication right there. Now, tell us about one of your favorite jobs you've ever done.
One of my favorite jobs I have ever done. I got a lot of them. I did one down in Stewart over here on the water. Nice big house. It's funny, the guy actually used to own a lot of big strip clubs down in down South Florida. And it's funny because his house, it was like two peaks with a skylight on top end. So when you look at it from the aerial, it looked kind of like boobs.
That's nipples.
So the house fit him, but it was a real nice house. The guy was really cool. It was a nice metal roof, steep. And it was, it's just a beautiful landmark house that people see when they're going out of the Stewart Inlet and stuff like that. It was a really nice house. So
that's awesome. How are you combating with the changes in the climate and more importantly, how insurance companies are kind of tightening up in Florida? What are you doing to adapt to that and still be aggressive and generate new business. Has that affected you, or are you all retail?
I'm a lot of retail, and probably 70% retail, 30% insurance. It hasn't really slowed us down. Like, I mean, we never really use AOBs or any of that, so none of that stuff really affected us. We do like direction of pays and stuff. We just get our names on the check, you know. To be completely honest with you, Justin, I really haven't even. I have somebody that handles the insurance for my company. So I really haven't even dove into what do I have to do differently. I usually, if I have insurance, I pass it over to my team, and then they just kind of handle it. But it hasn't really slowed them down. I noticed that they're still sending in 3-4, jobs a week. So I mean, it's still happening. It's just you just have to maneuver it right, and unfortunately, fortunately, Larry and Laura, my team that does the insurance, I mean, they know they're connected with a lot of attorneys and everything, so they were right on it. They figured out what we have to do. All I see damage, I send it to them. They take care of it from there.
Nice. That's kind of how Florida works. I've never done business out there, but I've heard that it's a lot of times public adjusters and litigation is like that's the route you go. It's not like that in Texas. So unpack that a little bit. You're a retail contractor. How are you generating business? Like, what are your key strategies to bring new opportunities into the door?
Well, for one, I grew up in this area, so I know quite a few people, but I call it the network marketing referral system that I have. Since I started my business, I've been really, really, really horrible at picking internet, Google people, website. I've sucked at that. I hired all the wrong people. So for like the last 2 years, we probably haven't even been ranking on Google as far as things go. So almost I've been generating between 3 and 4 million a year just on referrals and networks. I create a network. I'm involved in network groups, and what happens is people ask for a roofer on, say, some of the local pages on Fort Pierce or Facebook. Somebody asks for a roofer, I'll have 35, 40 people recommend me, and it's either people I work for. They get into the vibe because I have other businesses that I'm partnered with that we all kind of recommend each other. So we kind of, when we see, hey, somebody need tile, we recommend this guy. Somebody need roofing, they recommend me. Then my customers get on board because they found me from Facebook. So I explain to them how powerful that is. And then what happens is whenever they see roofer, they, oh my God, Richie Colleti, you got to get him, Leakbusters. It's the greatest company ever. And then I have another technique. To retain those people, I have a farm, like a small farm. So what I do is whenever I process meats and stuff, I'll bring them over fresh eggs, some chickens, and this, just randomly stop by. So now I got these people just constantly they always recommend me. So I just kind of create that referral base.
Wow.
Now we're getting our Google fixed.
Farmer mixed with roofer, so you're like double dipping. You're selling a roof and then you're selling them eggs. That's genius, bro.
Well, if they refer me to somebody, then I'll give it to them. But I'll sell them chickens and eggs and stuff like that.
Talk to me. I want a farm. How'd you get that farm started? Like, let our artists know. That sounds cool.
It's a small scale, like they call it, like a homesteading farm, basically. What happened about 7 years ago, there was like a big problem with money in Europe. I don't know if you remember. But what was happening was people couldn't get money out of the bank. And then I started seeing all these news articles about how they were like killing people for food and money, like rich people couldn't get money. So I started thinking to myself, I'm like, God, what if that happens in America? What if people can't get food? And what would I do with my family at that point? How am I going to feed them? So I started planting trees, and then I started getting chickens. I started out with chickens, and then from chickens I got rabbits and pigs and cows, and then I basically grew from there. So it's a small 12-acre farm. I raise all my own meat. I haven't bought meat in 7 years. And it doubles back. The farm doubles back because I call it my routine, because I don't go to the gym, I don't work out. So I do what they call the farm fit. I have to get out there every morning. Like, how do you get into the farm pit? I go, first off, you buy a farm. And second off, you buy a whole bunch of animals that want to eat every day, right? And then the 50-pound bags of feed, you got to, you carry the buckets and you got to get them water. So it's 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes at night. I'm out there sweating and working out. So that's my farm fit.
Nice, nice. He's got a dad bod, but he's farm fit. I'm gonna have to get a farm so I can get my girls to put their little mud boots on
That's
and make
right.
them put them to work.
Yeah, that's right. I have my kids help me out there, not as much as I'd like, but they do help me.
Do you live on the farm or near
Yeah,
it?
yeah. No, it's at my house. It's a small scale. Like I said, it's only 12 acres.
How old are your kids?
I got a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old.
That's so awesome. Next time I come through Florida, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna come see your
Yeah,
farm, bring my kids.
absolutely. We do tours all the time.
That's so cool, man. So let's dive back into some business.
Yeah.
So many people, they've got their business growing, but there's things that there's pitfalls, there's issues where they keep hitting a brick wall. What are some tactics or strategies or tips that you could share with our audience who are construction owners, things that you do that help your business thrive?
Well, I am a big believer in continued education. I didn't, like I said, I dropped out of school, so I think I'm making up for it now. This is what we were talking about earlier. It's like I constantly doing different trainings. I mean, I've been through every roofing construction training platform, the SVGs, Randy Brothers. I constantly go to trade shows to learn more stuff, figure out different ways to. I think there's a book called 1 Minute Manager or something like that, where or the Toyota way, where you're trying to make things efficiently all the time. Like I always try to figure out how can I skim 2 minutes off of this every day. I'm trying to constantly be better and learn more stuff so I can stay ahead of the curve. Try new apps to keep everything organized and keep everybody organized. I still have obviously I still have like my issues. Biggest reason why I joined with Sky Diamonds was because they really sold me on the recruiting and the marketing systems. I really haven't had a good sales system or a marketing system created yet, so I needed, like I said earlier, the network marketing and referral marketing, that's all me. If I stop doing it, we don't get no leads. So that was a big problem for me because I'm gonna have to put in that effort. So right now, that's my goals. My targets are to get the recruiting down and the marketing system. So that way it just happens. I have fresh recruits every week coming in. I got new leads coming in, and that's like kind of the missing puzzle. But just
I love
always
it.
try to be better. I always just try to be better than myself.
1% better every day. Personal growth is so important. You take those hard-earned dollars and you put some of it back into developing yourself. By doing so, your business thrives. That's probably the best advice I could give you, our audience, is we have to always be developing ourselves. I love that. Hey, what was that book, name of that book? Toyota Way?
The Toyota way, yeah.
The Toyota Way. And
Yeah, I think
that's to be more streamlined in your process, to become more efficient. What's it about?
it's just a bit, yeah. It's basically about it's a little extreme, but basically, like these guys, what they do is the 1 minute manager or whatever. Everything is building systems. Like they have literally a place where on their cafeteria table or whatever, they have a salt and pepper spot where everything goes, and they always try to make everything as efficient as possible. So it's just it's a little extreme, but if you're really trying to get everything together and be organized, I mean, it's a good way to start and then, taper down from there.
That's awesome. I'm going to definitely get that book because I'm all about efficiency and processes. Everybody inside their org chart, knowing what they're supposed to be doing. That's how you become a CEO of a company. Too many owners, like we've discussed, wear too many hats, and they're going out making sales, making estimates, collecting. And I can honestly say, thank God, I'm at a position now where I'm the CEO. I could share the vision. I get to inspire people when I want to. And I have a service manager who takes care of production. I have a operations manager who takes care of accounting and billing. And I have a growth manager who follows the stuff we learned in Sky Diamonds that's constantly recruiting. And my business is thriving because of that. So with that being said, what is a goal that you're working on? What's next for you?
My next goal is to try to scale my team enough to where we can do, 10 million comfortably a year without sacrificing the integrity of our work. That's always an issue when you get to that level. A lot of companies, 3 to 5 million is really a sweet spot. you can still stay on top of all of your jobs. You know what I mean? It's very simple. You know what I mean? Once you start growing a little bit more and you don't have the management and stuff like that, then things start to crumble. You have houses getting flooded. You got people getting pissed off. You don't have enough time to take care of the pissed off people and stuff like that. So we're trying to figure out how to scale to the 10 million range. That way, all of my employees, teammates, can all make their goals. You know what I mean? I need the company to make more money so I can help my people reach their goals of what they want to do. So that way they don't have to leave and start their own business. So that's kind of where we're on now, is to figure out how to scale to 10 million without sacrificing the integrity.
Beautiful, man. You know, that's one of the key things is if we give our people a place to grow, they'll never want to go.
Yep. Yep.
What kind of things are you doing for your people to help them grow in their organization?
Well, they get to obviously reach, they get any of the training that I'm going through at the time. They get to learn all these different processes. They get, they do get bonuses. I mean, my general manager, I'm actually helping her get her roofing license in Florida. We need to have a roofing license. So that's like a big thing. I mean, it's a lot of people would not want to do that because you think you take your best employee, let them get a roofing license, there's a chance that they can go start their own company, right? But that's just something I wanted to leave her with. If she, whenever I decide to retire, can either take over this company and be licensed and everything else. So those are some of the things. We're going to start offering different types of, I'm involved in a lot of different like money things, as far as like, for instance, whole life insurance. I've been that's one of the best ways to build wealth is whole life insurance. Put your money in there, borrow the money from banks, so to speak, and then you're not paying the interest and everything like that. So that's something I'm going to be offering to people here as soon as I fully figure it all out. But I'll be probably doing some kind of a match with them on it. We'll say, hey, whatever you put in, I'll match it or something like that.
That's brilliant. That's
Yep.
really brilliant. So many self-centered, like owners of companies that don't really care. They just want to see what they can get, and instead of what they can give. And whenever you come from a place of giving, that's when the business starts to thrive. So with that being said, awesome for you. Now I'm curious, what kind of investments are you doing to give your future children a better life?
So I'm buying property right now like crazy. I have a plan. What we're doing is it's going to be like an Airbnb experience type of thing. As I told you earlier about the farm thing is kind of like a big thing now. Everybody wants to do it. You know what I mean? Before I was that crazy prepper dude. Now everybody's coming to me and paying me to teach them how to run a small scale farm. So I seen an opportunity there, and I started getting involved in some of the bigger gurus, I guess. There's like the Lee Diamonds in the farming industry or Lee Hates in the farming industry. So I started getting connected with those people, and these guys are making a pretty good amount of money by doing these workshops and seminars and all this other stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm buying properties that I can build these little cabins and create an experience for people to come, where they come and rent it, they pay the experience, and then these properties will start to cash flow. It will create passive income, and that would be like kind of my 10-year goal was to have these all up and running. So far we have one in Costa Rica that we're building up right now. There's a resort out there. I got the Vero Beach one. I'm working on another property here west of town where I'm at now. And then we got a place up in Myrtle Beach. That would be a different experience. It's kind of like a beach fishing experience. We got a house on a marsh in Garden City that we're going to be Airbnb in, and you'll be able to pick, like, you want kayaks, you want to go fishing, you want to do this, you want to do that. So you kind of curate your experience of what you want to do, and then they'll be able to go there, and everything will be set up ready to go. The boat will be waiting, the bait will be in the box, the beers will be in the fridge, whatever you want. They'll curate the whole experience. So that's another company I'm working on building, and that's something that I want to be able to leave that legacy to my kids, so that way there's a passive income coming in. But again, my kids, I'm not going to just hand them money. I'm going to do, they're going to have the same thing with the whole life insurance, and they're going to have the money will go into that trust. And then if the kids are going to want anything from it, they're going to have to come up with a good plan for it. Hey, I want to start a business. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then, okay, yeah, you can have the money, So That's one of my 10-year goals.
That's brilliant. I love it. Congrats on your success thus far. Hey, listen, if somebody who's listening to this podcast and they're looking for an opportunity, they're stuck, they're a snowbird, and they want to come work for a great company where it's always shining and it's always sunny, how can our audience reach out to you, Richie?
Oh, that's easy. You can always call our office at 772-332-8450. You can also send an email to richie@myleakbusters.com. That's, with the Leak Busters with an S, myleakbusters.com. We're also at 3957 South US Highway 1 in Fort Pierce, Florida.
I love it. This has been a blast. I can't wait to come check out your farm. And until next time, thank you so much, Richie.
Absolutely. Cool, man. All right.
Take care, brother.